As if some of the younger people and some of the staff of Not This Girl could kind of come on in and sit on the floor. I know we're going to be dancing on it later, but I don't think it's too dirty right now because it's hard to include everyone. And one of the things that I do before telling my story is I started well on the fact that Mother Teresa said sometimes we draw the lines of our family, the boundaries of them, too small. So I often have to draw the line around the room and include everyone, because what I'm going to share is so difficult and it never gets any easier. And I often tell some of the high schools and some of the churches that I go to that I'm the first person to question, why is this person qualified to talk to me about what I lived through? Why does this person understand where I'm coming from? And I always say, well, my qualifications are not my resume, which is long, or my education. My qualifications lie in 5 hours. 5 hours of learning what it's like that at the beginning of those 5 hours you're begging for your life, and at the end of those 5 hours you're just begging to die. And that means leaving behind a daughter and friends and a mother and a father, but knowing what your body has lived through and what your soul has replayed, and those 5 hours will forever continue. And so when I first read about 1 Billion Rising, and I was thinking about the connection that they had with Not This Girl, is that each one of you that's here creates a wave of hope. And so when you go home and you talk about this event, you're creating a wave of hope. And that's what Not This Girl is about. NotThisGirl.com is a community that's been developed completely online and virtual that supports those who've lived through domestic violence or sexual assault in a completely anonymous way. Because what I found out is that, especially when you're in a professional environment, the last thing anyone wants to do is talk about sex, rape, and especially if you've been violated in such a way that for the next 6 months all you want to do is wear your favorite purple fleece and eat peanut butter and jelly and not get out of bed, and you let your hair go back to the natural color, and you don't dye it blonde anymore, and you don't wear makeup, and people don't understand why you don't want to be looked at that way or go to the bar with them. Nobody understands, but nobody really wants to know. But what we've done at Not This Girl is we've assembled a group of volunteers who do want to know. They either want to know because they've lived through it, someone they love has lived through it, someone that they know who knows someone who's lived through it, but it's touched their hearts, so they sit ready to answer emails. What makes it even more accessible is that when you write to Not This Girl, you actually choose whether you want someone to write you back. Because I, as a sufferer of those 5 hours, sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and think, I hate this life, I hate this God, I hate these people, I hate what I've been asked to do, and sometimes I don't want anyone to tell me it's going to be okay. Sometimes I just want to put it out there. And so what Not This Girl does is it creates these waves of hope, and it connects with organizations like 1 Billion Rising. And so what happens is with each wave of hope and each unleashing of hope, which is another name that we go by, you can find us at NotThisGirl.com or UnleashHope.com. Each one of these waves makes it better for someone that you may not even know. I had an interesting situation at the office. I work with a number of executives, and my personality, I'm just really warm and friendly, and that can be very irritating to some people who carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. And I took the opportunity to say, I can't make this meeting because I need to be home with my daughter. I realize I've been working a lot of hours and volunteering, and one of the women wrote back and said, I'm taking care of someone who's special to me. They're not a part of my family. They lived a terrible story, and I'm exhausted too, so I'm glad that we're canceling this meeting. And I was able to write back and say, you know, I'm chairperson of this nonprofit called Not This Girl. I think it might help you and the person that you're living with find what you need.
And the next day I got a note back and it said, I knew when I first heard your voice that there would be a reason that I needed to know you. And when I went to that site, and I don't even know which stories are yours, but I read them all and I know that I'm not alone. And then she shared it with another person who shared it with another person. And then you see these waves and they may be small, but they are powerful. They're the reason that I stand here. After having lived those 5 hours, I stand here almost to the day, 5 years later, to say, oh yeah, we rise. We rise every day, and sometimes we don't rise strong. Sometimes we need our friends to say, today we get up. Sometimes we need people to help us, to hold us, to love us. Sometimes we need people to say, I understand, and sometimes we just need them to listen to our anger, to listen to our not understanding how this could happen to us. And I just want to let you know, each and every one of you, that there are people here that get that. And whether you need a hug, and my staff will tell you I am the first person to be like, ooh, nope, not hugging, not hugging. We even have people who have cut in front of me and taken over the hug because I'm just not a hugger, and as you can imagine, those 5 hours would give me the right to be that way. But knowing this environment and knowing that I've drawn this line around my family and that you've welcomed me so openly, I would hug each and every one of you knowing that you're going to bring that hope home with you and that you're going to lend it to someone else who needs it. So thank you. Thank you so much.